Hello there. This is Flat Earthology, Earth's ecosystems. Maybe this will help some of the doubters see the Earth as we do. Now, during the first of the UK's national lockdowns back in March and April 2020, being furloughed, I actually bought The Home Ecosystem by Clementoli from Italy. And then realising when I actually received it, the booklet was all in Italian, but not to worry, I did get the English version thanks to them. Now, the first thing that you see is what, my friends? It's not a globe, is it? Because scientifically, it can't be. Globes are not really meant for educational purposes, just hypnothetical mind-control indoctrination. Now, the home ecosystem shows how the natural water cycle works, taking place right before your very eyes. You can understand some natural processes at work, such as water vapour turning into rain. Also, you can sow the seeds in your mini bioplane and watch those plants grow. However, the subliminal or flaming obvious here, friends, it is also a flat earth enclosed, isn't it? Another reason to know scientifically that the earth is flat with borders. It's an extremely intelligent designed system for all life, not this insignificant spinning bald rock spinning around a sun in the vast outer space of multitudes of galaxies, nebulas to nothings or nowheres. Now, from the very beginning, the concept of an ecosystem and community are very closely related, friends. The difference is that an ecosystem includes the physical environment, while a community does not. In other words, a community is the biotic or the living component of an ecosystem. The ecosystem also includes an abiotic component, the physical environment. Earth has a highly charged electromagnetic energy, a force, if you will, the real one. Numerous fields of it, invisible real forces of electromagnetism. This is what got Tesla shut down, friends. His understanding and experiments of electromagnetic force and electricity. Now, we know salt water is the most conductive surface on the plane for electromagnetic energy. The world as we know it is an enclosed eco-battery system, running on systems built on systems built on systems. The sun being the anode, the moon being the cathode, and the salt water being the electrolyte. Many fields of electromagnetism are everywhere on the plain Earth, even electroluminescence. This is scientifically proven empirically, friends, and the real force behind the fictitious term gravity. The electromagnetic spectrum. Ecosystems can be very small, such as the tide pools found near the rocky shores of many oceans, or very large, such as the Amazon rainforest in South America. Earth's only written, termed the four spheres of Earth: the geosphere, the hydrosphere, the biosphere, and atmosphere. We will change them. However, they all simply make up the entire ecosystem of the Earth. All systems built on systems built on systems. The volcanoes for the CO2, etc., all relying on everything to do its thing during the daytime sun and the nighttime moon. Every morning the sun rises in the east and thus sets in the west. You can count on this, friends. Now, the hydroplane or hydrosphere in physical geography, my friends, the term hydrosphere is the Greek word hydro meaning water, and sphere, well, let's just say this remains to be seen, unless you make a call to Robert Simmons from NASA to Photoshop one in. Simply, it's the said collective of water found on, under, or over a plane surface. But we all know that water can't stick to a ball from the outside, so it has to be an Earth's hydroplane. This consists chiefly of the oceans, but also technically includes the clouds, the inland seas, the lakes, the rivers, and underground waters too. So it's the total amount of water that exists here on Earth. over 670 trillion tons of it, either underground, in the air, can be liquid vapor or ice, which covers 3/4 of the Earth. 72% of it, friends. The Earthland, remember, rests upon the waters. It is the basis and foundation for all the living beings that inhabit the plain Earth, the only perfect place for any life form to have life, organic or inorganic, our ecological Earth. Each natural human life begins in the watery environment of its mother's womb. Our cells and tissues are mostly water, and most of the chemical reactions that are part of life's processes take place in water. You are made up of 72% water, a biological masterpiece plugged into real-time Wi-Fi all the time. All currently recognised forms of life have to rely on an active hydroplane. All organic chemistry indicative of life occurs with water as its solvent. The water cycle in the Earth's hydroplane allows for the purification of salt water into fresh water. The action of both evaporation and wetland swamps serves to remove a large portion of the pollutants from our atmosphere, like the acid rain, etc. Through this process, the water cycle purifies the gaseous atmosphere, and although most life actually on our planet Earth exists within the saltwater oceans, humans are particularly interested in the hydroplane because this provides the fresh water that we all are solely dependent on. If you can control the water, well then you can control life, and it's termed blue gold, friends. The water cycle, or the hydrologic cycle, is the continuous circulation of water within the Earth's hydroplane. The water moves from one reservoir to another, such as from river to ocean, or from the ocean to the atmosphere, by the physical process of evaporation, condensation, precipitation, infiltration, runoff, and subsurface flow. The water goes through different phases: liquid, solid, and gas. Think about the term global warming. Well, the water cycle also involves the exchange of heat energy, which leads to temperature changes. So for instance, in the process of evaporation, water takes up energy from the surroundings and cools the environment. Conversely, in the process of condensation, water releases energy to its surroundings, warming the environment. This cycle is driven by the solar radiation and electromagnetic forces from the circulating sun above, the anode, friends. Now the hydroplane, like the atmosphere, is always in motion. The motion of rivers and streams can be easily seen, while the motion of the water within lakes and ponds is less obvious, but obviously very flat and level. Some of the motion of the oceans and seas can be easily seen, while the large-scale motions that move water great distances, such as between the tropics and pole or between continents, are more difficult to see. These types of motions are in form of currents that move the waters in the tropics towards the pole and vice versa. These currents exist on the surface of the ocean and at great depths in the ocean. The ocean's currents are also affected by the motion of the atmosphere's winds, the electromagnetism above it from both the sun and the moon, the anode and the cathode. The wondrous and spectacular solar effect, which is the combined influence or conjunction of the sun and moon. The energy in the wind gets transferred to the ocean at the ocean's surface, affecting the motion of the waters there. The effect of the wind is largest at the ocean's surface, hence the wind farms that are in them and that are being built to this very day. And friends, it was only in 1917 scientists had discovered that the surface of the Earth is negatively charged. Anyways, the ocean serves two main purposes in the climate system. First, it is the large reservoir of chemicals that can contribute to the greenhouse effect in the atmosphere plane. The energy absorbing 90% of the solar radiation which hits the land surface. This reservoir changes very slowly, limiting how fast the climate can change. Second, it works within the atmosphere plane to redistribute the electromagnetic energy received from the sun, such as the heat in the tropics, where a lot of energy is received from the sun in his daily circuit around the plane. The bioplane or ecoplane, friends, is the worldwide sum of all the ecosystems. It can be termed the zone of life on Earth. This is our closed system. It has to be, friends, for it to work scientifically. Largely self-regulating, it is defined as the area of the plane where organisms live, where life occurs on, above and below the surface of the Earth. It's the regions of the surface and atmosphere plane of the Earth occupied by living organisms. The bioplane is one of the four layers that surround the Earth, along with the rock, the water and air, and is the sum of all the ecosystems, like the four elements: earth, air, fire and water. Since geo means ground, the geoplane describes all of the rocks, the minerals and ground soil that are found on and in the Earth, including all of the mountains on the surface. Thus, the atmosphere is just a thin layer, or atmosphere plane is a thin layer of gases that enclose the Earth. It actually seals in the plane. We could also use the word firmament here, if you will, friends. The lowest layers interact with the surface of the Earth, while the highest layers interact with low orbit space. There is no sudden point of instant weightlessness. This is a myth, friends. And this is the world as we should know it. The ecosystem of systems. One Earth. Now remember the much smaller home ecosystem I bought, friends. Amazing, isn't it? Truth in plain sight. Why don't they swap every single globe on the plain Earth for one of these, and textbooks on 200 proofs the Earth is not a spinning globe, with all the flat Earth clues parts 1 to 15 in? Imagine how many real eco-scientists we would have and what shape the world would be in, physical and metaphysical. Still using fossil fuels? I do not think so, friends. We are one geocentric world, entirely enclosed eco-battery system for that wonderful and magical gift of life. The sun and the moon circulating above on fields of electromagnetism. Systems of systems relying on everything else to do its purpose. Not so much this insignificant, wobbling, tiny rock, as you were led to believe. One truly magnificent, intelligent, designed system. We all feel the atmosphere as a cool breeze. It's there, it's real, just like your purpose on the other side of the screen. Your life is as important as the water you need to drink. You can get the Sun, Moon and Zodiac Clock app for all your devices that will help show you real time on Earth every single day, and come to the realization that this Earth is not a spinning globe. And as always, with all of my uploads, friends, you are free to draw from this whatever conclusion that you want. Hit the subscribe if you want to. Not too many millions though, we do need to try and stay underground, don't we? But I will definitely see you all in the next upload. This was my flat earthology and Earth's ecosystems. Much love. Thanks for your time.